Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be doing a hypothetical matchup between the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, versus Donald Trump, the Republican nominee for the 2024 presidential election. So we've already characterized all the safe, likely, and lean states. We have two for the Democrats, it looks like, and two for the Republicans, for the Democrats being the state of Minnesota and New Hampshire, then for the Republicans being the states of Georgia and North Carolina. I think that's an accurate characterization. We'll have to see. I do think that will probably be the outcome on Election Day. But now we'll start to characterize some of the swing states. So in this matchup, I would likely predict, I'm going to add a tilt characterization, but I do think that the state of Nevada, it would probably be a little bit closer of a margin, but I do think that it would likely end up going to the Trump campaign. That's going to give us 257 electoral college votes for the Republican candidate, in this case Donald Trump, to 226 for the Democratic candidate, in this case Pete Buttigieg. And then we will get to state of Arizona. I think in Arizona, this is probably going to be a similar case. We're going to give it as a tilt Republican state, so that's going to be 268 electoral college votes for Trump. So he's too shy of becoming the president, and I do think that Pete Buttigieg would likely have a lot more of an appeal in the Midwest, being from Indiana and all. That would help to translate to a better chance in the Rust Belt states than Biden or Harris might have, but I do think that the state of Wisconsin, at least, is probably going to end up in the Republican campaign. It's usually the most narrow of the swing states up here, and so we're going to give that as tilt Republican. Things are looking really good for the Trump campaign in the polls right now, so we're going to characterize that state as such. And then we get to the state of Michigan. I think Michigan is probably going to be the most likely of the pack to break for the Democratic candidate, so it won't be a complete sweep of the Rust Belt for either major party, but it will be a pretty close election. I could definitely see I could see Michigan going to the Republican side if Trump is able to campaign well against in a hypothetical matchup with Pete Buttigieg. But then we'll go to the state of Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, I think that this would likely end up being a tilt Republican state, and that would give the Republican candidate, Donald Trump, 297 electoral college votes, more than enough to win the presidency, against Pete Buttigieg at 241. And this is if the election were to be held today. Things are looking pretty good for Trump in the polls. He's against Harris. It's slightly better for the Democrats. But he is overall, Pete Buttigieg, he has some name recognition as well, but probably not as much, well, definitely not as much as the Trump campaign, and they'd be able to use that to help do well in many of the swing states. But feel free to let me know if you have any questions about any of my predictions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.